So when President Biden says he wants to achieve a carbon pollution-free power sector by 2035, California's already committed itself to a carbon-free power sector by 2045. And last year, we witnessed the results of that. California had to impose rolling blackouts on millions of its residents. The state had to waive environmental regulations so they could run large numbers of emergency diesel generators, and even then they couldn't keep the lights on. So to make matters worse, California residents are already paying some of the highest electricity prices in the country for not reliable energy. So what are the facts that show it's possible to actually push the entire nation down this path and to do so 10 years ahead of the California schedule without causing the blackouts, without having unacceptable risks, and without driving up electricity prices?
Yeah. We know that there are places in the country that have gotten to that amount, but we need a lot more work and shoulder to the wheel. That's 15 years from now. I know the goal is there at 100%, but the important goal, I think, for this committee is as well the 100% net carbon zero emissions. And I'd like to talk about emissions because I think that is something that technology can address that keeps people employed. And so to be able to work with you on that, and I know that you are a forward thinker on technology, and you're not a climate denier. You understand the importance of technology, and that's why I'm so impressed by the members of this committee, and especially the members who do represent fossil-based economies, because I know that you see the opportunity for that net zero and the use of technology to be able to get there.
Well, then I invite you to Wyoming, to the University of Wyoming School of Energy Resources, where we have our integrated test center working on carbon capture, air capture, direct capture, and then putting it into products that are marketable,
yes,
can be sold. And the chairman and I, as well as Senator Murkowski and Senator Cantwell and Senator Whitehouse, have gone to locations around the world where research is being done to do that. The X Prize competition, you may have seen Elon Musk has just committed $100 million to research to do just the sorts of things that we have been leading the way in Wyoming, so I'd welcome you there. That, to me, is a goal. Right now, I'm taking a look at what President Biden said. He said he's going to ensure 100% of new sales for light and medium-duty vehicles will be zero emission and cut the carbon footprint of our national building stock in half by 2035. In other words, his administration not only wants to create this carbon-free sector by 2035, but he wants us saddle the electric grid with the additional burden of powering most cars and trucks in the country, half of the buildings that currently use natural gas. No one wants to see a repeat of California failures. So can you point to, you said there are some places, but can you point to any state agencies or electric grid operators or utilities that have committed to use such aggressive goals without warning people of the risks that they face if they try to clamp it down?
Well, I would say, having lived in California for this past year for that, a lot of the blackouts were due to, honestly, wind, fire, because of the conditions of the climate. And it was less about the security of the grid and more about what was happening because of the warming of the planet and the cause of the additional fire danger as a result. However,
and also the way that the forests have been managed and all the other issues related to that.
Right, and a lot of that was federal forest too. But yes, there has to be a better management of the forests. I don't want to argue about it with you at all. I want to be able to reach across and be a partner in achieving the technologies to get there. I do think that we have so much opportunity in building technologies and the structures, in materials, that we can reduce CO2 footprint of buildings, the building sector. I think that we can work together. I think that the example of the bill that you guys did pass at the end of last year is an example of being able to find the common ground that allows us to keep people employed, employ new people in this clean energy sector, and use technology as a way of addressing CO2 emissions.
Last year, the governor of California signed an executive order banning the sales of new vehicles with internal combustion engines by 2035. President Biden says he wants 100% of new sales for light and medium-duty vehicles will be zero emission. You're former governor of Michigan. Do you support banning sales of new vehicles with internal combustion engines?
I think it's, I mean, because I do drive this Chevy Bolt, and it's been amazing and the best car I've ever had with incredible power. I would love to see a big goal. And I know it's going to take us a while to get there, and sometimes leaders have to say big goals to move things in the direction that they would like to see. But I do know that the auto industry itself, as Senator Stabenow said, is making big investments in this, not just the domestic auto industry, but internationally as well, and it's very exciting to see.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.